Hi, I'm Mandy, and today I'm going to discuss one of two possible alternatives for a rooftop air conditioner that I have tried. Because while my van is adorable and I love her so much, she does not have any kind of modifications to the exterior. So she does not have a rooftop air conditioner, and oh my goodness, it is so hot. Option one is an indoor-outdoor tent air conditioner. It is the Wave 2 by EcoFlow. I have 10 pros and 10 cons for this air conditioner. Alright, 10 cons. The first 3 are all very similar, and that is the drainage system. I could go on and on about the problems with the drainage, but I'll try not to. Number one is that there are a lot of known drain problems. I'm not sure if this is particular to just some units or what happened, but mine, just when it's turned on, the water just dumps all over the floor. There is a tiny little plastic insert that goes into the drainage hole, and it allows the drain pipe to connect. And without that middle insert, there is no way to connect the plastic drain pipe, but that inner piece completely blocks the water, so it doesn't allow anything to drain. It's very confusing, but there are a lot of known drain issues, and I don't know for sure, but I almost imagine that's the reason why they discontinued this model. And I was pretty upset that I got a refurbished item, which means it was supposed to go through significant quality assurance tests to make sure that everything was working, and you only have to turn it on for 10 or 15 minutes before the water starts going all over the place. So it's very clear if it was ever just turned on that it is not functioning properly. And the inside of my van, I do try to keep it as dry as possible, and so having water just run all down from the front to the back of the van and from the back to the front was just, I feel like I was always mopping the floor, and I hated it. And sometimes it would be a surprise. I'm like, oh, why is this wood wet? Why is this wet? And I just lift something up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, where did this water come from? So it's not a good discovery when you see random water and random piles of water on the floor. Okay, the next one is it doesn't necessarily have like a water holding tank like larger air conditioner units, like indoor units. It just has a teeny tiny water tray. And the tray is just there to collect tiny bits of water that isn't recycled back and released into the air as humidity or moisture. So when it does not drain properly, the water just dumps out. I did a test to see how much water actually drains out of it, and it equaled about 3 gallons in a 12-hour use day. 3 gallons of water. You do not want that dumping inside your vehicle, especially if you left it unattended and you came back, and you would have a horrible nightmare to clean up. Oh my goodness, are you okay in there? Out you go. Come on. One lizard was saved in the filming of this video. Okay, con number 4. This does come with a template for the holes for the 2 vents, and I thought that was really awesome. But unfortunately, my windows are really slanted at the top, and the pattern is completely square. So it wouldn't just fit into the window. In order to make my own kind of window vents, I had to get some extra material and spend a half a day making mine, and it was too thin for me to just mold and stick in the window. Number 6 is going to be the 2-vent system, and this might be completely just applicable to me in my specific vehicle. My e-Transit does not have any kind of center. The center is just really small, and when I was doing research, it looked like most people placed this when they did it inside the vehicle in that center space between the driver's side and the passenger side, and then ran the vents behind the seat. And I thought, oh, that's great, like, I'll do that. And what a brilliant idea. And then I get it, and this seat with like the center area is like this, and then even this really small unit, it's like this. So that did not work. So I tried to set it on the driver's side floor, and then that leaked water all over the place and went down up under the seat where my batteries and a lot of electronics and stuff were, and I just was really uncomfortable with that. And I tried to move it outside of the seating area, and of course it dumped everywhere, but it also, I was struggling to get the vents up to the window. I had to go in front instead of behind, which means I couldn't get to my desk and the driver's seat, and it just made the vehicle like completely inaccessible for what I needed it for when it was inside. So I can only use one vent since I was really struggling to get the vent from the machine to the window. I actually had to move my unit outside. So the 2-vent thing did not work for me, but it might work for you. Number 7 is that the power cord, this is crazy, is meant for indoor use only. It says it right across the top for indoor use only. So it makes me think the unit itself is just not suitable to be outside, to be in the elements, and it's marketed as a tent air conditioner. So you would put it outside the tent and just blow the cold air in. And it definitely, I was nervous about having the cord outside, so I kind of tucked it up under the top of the wheel to keep the power cord kind of out of the weather. But it rained, it nonstop rained, and thankfully everything was okay, and I would just pull the unit inside every time it rained, but it didn't make me very comfortable doing that. Okay, number 8 is that, at least where I'm presently at, it never stops raining. It never stops raining. And this is, like I was saying, it doesn't seem to be meant to withstand rain or to be outside in other than perfect ideal weather. Oh my gosh. You know, I like to put a rain fly over everything. I will rain fly my hammock, my laundry, anything that I take from the van, from the inside to the outside, I will rain fly it. I rain fly my power pedestal at campgrounds. I rain fly everything, and I've learned that is an absolute necessity here. So if you don't rain fly, everything is going to be ruined. But there isn't necessarily a way to put a rain fly around this. I had zero success, because if you're at a campground and you're parking on the concrete, you probably don't have a tree that is going to be reachable to put a rain fly to it, and it didn't work. It didn't work. So if it's gonna be outside and it rains all the time and this can't get wet and the power cord is for indoors and you don't have a way to cover it, it was completely unfeasible. Like, I ran out of ways to actually use this thing. So Number 10 broke my heart just a little bit because I was looking for as low of BTUs as I could find, because I do have a solar system set up that I installed myself, and I have now 3 portable power stations. And I really thought that because it runs off of about 450 watts is the running watt on eco mode, I'm like, okay, well I have a 2 550 watt portable power stations, and I'm like, okay, I can maybe only get 1 hour, but in an emergency, when I'm like about to die, laying on the floor, taking like my last breaths of air, I could run it for an hour off of my portable power stations, or maybe a couple hours off my solar battery. But the starting wattage it needs over 550 watts to even turn on. So when I hooked it up to every single battery in my vehicle, not a single one would actually allow the unit to turn on. So that is just kind of my experience, and I hope this helps you to decide if maybe something similar to this would be a good alternative for you if you don't have a rooftop air conditioner and you just need something. I would suggest this as a very, very temporary, maybe like an interim device. If you have nothing else and like you're just absolutely miserable, this is better than nothing. But I would not count on this for longevity, any kind of long-term use. Okay, so that is my pros and cons of the EcoFlow Wave 2.